This podcast is brought to you by the creators of Emmy Award-winning Rising Phoenix.
Supported by global partners, Adidas and Procter Gamble, the proud makers of Oral-B, Pampers, and Gillette. Hello, I'm Matt Stutzman, a four-time Paralympic and a silver medalist, the original Armless Archer.
And I'm Michael Johnson, four-time Olympic gold medalist.
Welcome to our podcast, Rising Phoenix, What Does It Take?
Where we'll introduce you to some of the world's greatest Paralympians.
Kind of like me.
Exactly like you, Matt. And you'll hear about their life stories, what it's taken for them to get to this point, and their hopes for Paris 2024 Paralympics.
Hello, everyone. This is Michael Johnson. I'm Matt Stutzman. We are at the Adidas Arena, which is a Paralympic venue for both badminton and Paralympic powerlifting. Why were you interested in doing this?
Yeah, I'm fascinated by human performance and people trying to be the best versions of themselves. And I spent enough time around Paralympic athletes, and I'm fascinated with their stories of overcoming challenges. And it's always an amazing story with a Paralympic athlete. I mean, in the Olympics, I've spent the last 23 years of my life covering the Olympics, and we're always looking for that amazing story of this Olympic athlete's a great athlete, they overcame this or that. And we love those stories. Every Paralympian has one of those stories. Mm-hmm. And I'm just fascinated with the sort of mental, sort of fortitude that Paralympic athletes have in overcoming challenges and, striving for excellence in their own right.
One of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of this podcast with you is because I felt like this is just another a great stepping stone and platform to kind of share and continue sharing to the world what people can actually overcome. It doesn't matter their disability. It doesn't matter what they've been through. They fought through it. They're elite athletes. They're using sports to get that. And at the end of the day, they're showing the world that anything is really possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be exciting. So really looking forward to that. But I want to talk a little bit about you. So Matt, tell us about your disability so everybody understands just how awesome you are.
So I don't know about being awesome. However, I do know that I was born without any arms, just like you see me now. However, when I was born, they couldn't find any medical reason for why I was born this way. So I like to tell everybody I'm just one in a million. I went through most of my life trying out lots of different sports, volleyball, basketball. I wasn't very good at track.
Why not?
When I ran, I kind of looked like a penguin. And so track really wasn't my thing.
I'm not
but
quite sure.
Eventually I remember the day that I found archery, and I was sitting at home on a couch, and I had just went to apply for a job and I didn't get the job. So I'm sitting on the couch, and there's a guy on TV that is shooting a bow, and something in my brain says, Matt, that's what you're going to do. You're going to get a bow and you're going to provide for your family with a bow. And I said, okay, let's do it.
But provide for your family with a bow as a archer, competing in competitions like you do now, or going to go get food?
So to put it, I was hungry. So I actually purchased a bow for the initial purpose of literally going out in the woods and harvesting a deer so my family had food. At that point in time in my head, it had nothing to do with competing. It literally was just providing.
Wow. How'd you go that first time? Did you get food?
Yeah, I went out. Honestly, the feeling that I had was kind of like winning, I would say, a gold medal at the Olympics, I'm guessing, because I went out, I taught myself how to shoot a bow. I'm successful at harvesting an animal. And the feeling I had was I get this flood of emotion of I'm providing for my family. I put food on the table. And that's all I've ever wanted to do was to do that for my family. It was just like overwhelming. It was such a surreal moment.
And you just said, you don't know if you're awesome. Come on.
Well, the reality is that, I'm just living my life,
So how did you get into competitive archery?
I remember the day that I took my bow. I was successful with providing food for my family, and I hung up the bow. And I had a friend of mine, and I'm sure maybe you've had friends like this too, but they're like, "Hey, Matt, you're really good at shooting a bow. You should try to go shoot an archery tournament." I'm like, "What is an archery tournament?" He's like, "Well, there's like you go hit bullseyes. All you have to do is hit a bullseye, and you get $12,000."
What?
Yeah, I was like, $12,000? What? So I'm like, so I signed up. I spent the last money I had. I gambled it all on just going to this one event, and
Uh-oh.
guess what place I get?
I'm scared to ask. I'm
Yeah,
scared to
like
ask.
200th place. I was like, oh, I quickly realized like the level of competition at archery at that level, it's extreme. But during that process, I have a guy call me and said, "Hey, we would like to help you." And at that time, all the stuff in my life was going how it was going, and I said, "I like free stuff. Let's do it." And the turning point for me in my career with archery was that same friend who told me I should shoot a bow at an archery tournament said to me, "Matt, the reason why they want to sponsor you is because you have no arms and you draw attention to their product, and it's not because you're good." And that lit a fire. Like, I want to be known as the best archer in the world. Followed by the statement, "Oh, by the way, did you know he does it with no arms?" And 8 hours a day after that for the last basically 13 years, working, perfecting, trying to become what I believe is the best archer in the world.
So among some of the amazing Paralympic athletes that we're going to hear from track and social media superstar Hunter Woodall. And we'll have blind football Gael Rebier.
We'll also have summer and winter athlete Birgit Skarstein. These are amazing athletes. I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
Should be fantastic. Yeah.
Make sure you join us for episode 1, where we talk to the woman who dominates the running track and the cycling track, Kadina Cox.
That's all to come on Rising Phoenix. What Does It Take? A podcast brought to you by the creators of Emmy Award winning Rising Phoenix.
Supported by global partners Adidas and Procter Gamble, the proud makers of Oral-B, Pampers, and Gillette.
If you like what you've listened to and you want to know more about Rising Phoenix, check out the details in our show notes.
And make sure you leave us a 5-star review on your podcast app, because that helps everyone else find the show.
This is a Persophonica production in partnership with Harder Than You Think.
I'm a rising phoenix.